The fluorescent lights of the bank conference room buzzed overhead as I signed my name on the final page. 11:23 a.m., December 14th. The pen felt heavy, $2.4 million heavy. The loan officer slid the check across the mahogany table, and I could see my reflection in its polished surface. The worst part wasn't that I was buying the company that fired me 3 years ago. It was that my former boss was sitting in the lobby downstairs, waiting to hear if her job still existed. But let me back up, because 6 months earlier, I was sleeping in my car. Spring 2024. I'd been living in my 2008 Honda Civic for 43 days. Not the romantic, finding myself kind of homelessness you see in movies. The kind where you brush your teeth in gas station bathrooms and pray the parking lot security guard doesn't tap on your window at 2 a.m. I parked behind the shopping center on Morrison Street, the one with the 24-hour fitness center. $5 got me a day pass and access to showers. I'd rotate between 3 different locations so the staff wouldn't recognize me. My phone had 17 missed calls from my sister. I couldn't answer. Couldn't hear the disappointment in her voice again. Couldn't explain how a Harvard Business School graduate ended up here. The company I'd worked for, Tech Vista Solutions, had let me go 8 months prior. Budget cuts, they called it. But I knew the real reason. I'd challenged my boss, Francesca Romano, in a board meeting. Pointed out that her marketing strategy was hemorrhaging money. 3 campaigns, $840,000 spent, 0 ROI. She smiled at me across that conference table and said, "I appreciate your enthusiasm, but perhaps focus on your own department." 2 weeks later, my position was eliminated. Day 47 in the Civic. I was eating a protein bar for dinner, my second meal of the day, when I saw the LinkedIn post. Jade, my former colleague, had shared it. Tech Vista Solutions just closed a $5 million funding round. The article quoted Francesca. "Our innovative marketing approach has positioned us as industry leaders." I stared at my phone screen until the battery warning flashed. 2% remaining. That's when something cracked open inside me. Not despair, I'd lived in that space for months. This was different. This was rage that had been compressed into diamond-hard clarity. I drove to the public library, used their computers, stayed until closing, mapping out every contact I'd made in 10 years of marketing, downloaded every case study I'd ever written, pulled up every successful campaign I'd executed. Then I did something crazy. I emptied my bank account. $247.53. Bought a domain name and basic hosting. Spent the night in the library parking lot building a website on my phone, using the last of my hotspot data. By sunrise, Sterling Marketing Solutions existed. The name? My middle name. The one thing no one could take from me. I landed my first client in 72 hours. Not through a fancy pitch, through desperation and honesty. I walked into Riverside Dental, a small practice I'd driven past every day. Asked to speak to the owner. Dr. Patel found me in the waiting room, probably thinking I needed a cleaning. "I can triple your new patient bookings in 60 days, I told her. "If I don't, you pay me nothing." She studied my face. I probably looked exactly like what I was. Exhausted, hungry, desperate. "Why should I believe you?" I pulled up my phone, showed her a campaign I'd run for a dental chain in Boston. 340% increase in bookings. $3.2 million in new patient revenue. That was me. I don't have an office. I don't have any employees. Right now, I'm living in my car. But I know how to do this one thing really, really well. The silence stretched out for 15 seconds. $2,000 retainer, she said. "Show me what you've got." I wanted to cry. Didn't. Shook her hand instead. Dr. Patel's practice saw 23 new patients in the first week. 41 by week 3. She referred me to 2 other practices. They referred me to a chiropractor and a physical therapy clinic. By day 90, I had 8 clients and $14,000 in monthly recurring revenue. I moved out of the Civic into a studio apartment that cost $950 a month. The first night in a real bed, I couldn't sleep. Too soft, too quiet. I ended up on the floor. But I was building something no one could eliminate with a budget cut or a closed-door meeting. I hired my first employee in month 4, Kiara, a recent graduate drowning in student loans. Taught her everything I knew. We worked from coffee shops and my tiny apartment, laptops side by side. Month 6, $31,000 in monthly revenue. 12 clients, 2 employees. Month 9, $67,000, 23 clients, 4 employees. I saw the pattern Francesca had missed. Small businesses, dental practices, law firms, local service providers, they had money, but no expertise. They'd been ignored by big agencies chasing corporate contracts. I didn't ignore them. I became obsessed with their success. Month 11. I was reviewing quarterly numbers when Kiara knocked on my new office door. We'd finally rented actual space. You need to see this. She pulled up TechVista's website. They'd lost 2 major clients. Their stock price had dropped 34% in 6 months. And they'd just posted a job opening, Chief Marketing Officer, reporting directly to the CEO. My old position, the one they'd eliminated. Keep reading, Kiara said. The job description detailed the exact problems I'd warned Francesca about: declining ROI, ineffective campaign strategies, need for immediate turnaround. Everything I'd said in that board meeting. I pulled up TechVista's financial reports, public records for traded companies, started mapping out their decline. It began exactly 3 months after I left. The timeline was devastating. What are you thinking? Kiara asked. I smiled. First real smile in a year. I'm thinking we're going to need a bigger office. I spent the next 8 weeks doing something unexpected. I saved TechVista Solutions. Not as an employee, as a consultant. Anonymous at first. Worked through a third party, one of my clients who had connections. Provided a detailed analysis of their marketing problems. Offering solutions. Didn't charge. Why? Because I needed them to succeed just enough to be worth buying. Their stock stabilized. I started climbing. The board noticed. Started asking questions about the mysterious consultant who'd turned things around. Meanwhile, Sterling Marketing Solutions hit $100,000 in monthly revenue. 29 clients. 7 employees. And I'd been approached by 3 private equity firms interested in our growth model. I took meetings, not because I wanted to sell, because I wanted to learn how they thought, how they valued companies, how they structured deals. One firm, Cascade Capital, particularly interested me. Their partner, Beverly, had built her career on turnaround acquisitions. Your growth rate is unusual, she said over coffee. Most agencies plateau at this size. We're not most agencies. What's your 5-year goal? I told her the truth. Acquire TechVista Solutions. She didn't laugh. Pulled out her phone instead. Started typing. Their current valuation is $8 million, declining but stabilizing. You'd need significant capital. What if I could get them to $12 million in 6 months? Now she looked up. How? Because I know exactly what they're doing wrong, and I'm already fixing it. 6 months later, the timeline from my opening, everything converged. Sterling Marketing Solutions, $180,000 monthly revenue, 42 clients, profitable, growing. Cascade Capital had offered me a $2.4 million line of credit. secured against my company's revenue. Tech Vista Solutions. Stock price recovered to $11.8 million valuation. Still struggling with leadership. Francesca had been demoted to VP. The board was actively seeking acquisition offers. I submitted an offer. Clean, professional, $10.2 million. Below valuation, but structured for immediate close. The board had 3 other offers, but mine closed the fastest. They needed cash. The morning of closing, I arrived at the bank early, wore the same suit I'd worn to my Harvard graduation, the one I'd kept in the Civic's trunk, wrapped in dry cleaning plastic. Beverly from Cascade met me in the lobby. "Are you sure about this?" Never been more sure of anything. We rode the elevator in silence. I thought about those nights in the parking lot, the protein bars, the library computers, every no that had led to this yes. The loan officer, Bryce, walked us through the paperwork. Standard acquisition documents, but every page felt like vindication. Signature page, 11:23 a.m. The check sat in front of me. $10.2 million. Made out to Tech Vista Solutions shareholders. "One more thing," I said. Bryce looked up, confused. "I want to hand-deliver this to their current management. Today. Now." Beverly raised an eyebrow. "That's unusual." So is this entire situation. 20 minutes later, I walked into Tech Vista's lobby. The same marble floors, the same abstract art, the same receptionist who'd watched security escort me out 18 months ago. She recognized me. I saw it in her eyes. "I'm here to see Francesca Romano," I said. "Tell her Sterling is here." I waited, stood exactly where I'd stood that last day, wondered if she remembered. The elevator dinged. Francesca stepped out, hair shorter, face tighter. She'd aged. She saw me. I froze. "Hello, Francesca." "What are you doing here?" I pulled the envelope from my briefcase. The check inside felt like lightning. "I'm here to complete the acquisition. As of 11:23 this morning, I own Tech Vista Solutions. The board accepted my offer 2 hours ago." The color drained from her face. That's not possible." "It is possible. It happened. Your shareholders were very motivated to sell." I handed her a second envelope. Letter of termination. Generous severance, more than she'd given me. Because I'm not her. "You're firing me?" "I'm restructuring. Your position is being eliminated. Budget cuts." She looked at the envelope like it might bite her. "You were homeless. I heard people said you were living in your car." "I was, for 47 days, because you eliminated my position after I told you the truth, after I showed you exactly what was wrong." "That was business, nothing personal." "You're right. This isn't personal either. It's just business." 6 months after the acquisition, morning light filtering through my corner office, Francesca's old office. I'd redecorated. Less abstract art, more windows. Tech Vista Solutions, now a Sterling Marketing Solutions subsidiary, had increased revenue by 43%. The strategies I'd proposed in that board meeting 3 years ago, implemented every single one. Worked exactly as I'd predicted. Kiara was now VP of Operations, running the combined company day to day. The 7 employees who'd believed in me when I had nothing, all directors now, all equity holders. Francesca? She found another position. Smaller company. Good for her. I didn't gloat. I didn't need to. But the story went viral anyway. LinkedIn, Twitter, business journals. Homeless MBA buys company that fired her. The headlines wrote themselves. I got interview requests, podcast invitations, speaking offers. Turned down most of them. Accepted one. TEDx talk at Stanford. Standing on that red circle, looking at 2,000 faces, I didn't tell them about revenge. Didn't tell them about proving anyone wrong. I told them about day 47 in the Civic, about the exact moment I decided my circumstances didn't define my worth. They took my job, I said. They couldn't take my skills. They couldn't take my network. They couldn't take what I knew. The applause was nice, but what mattered happened after. 3 former Tech Vista employees approached me, all let go in the same round of budget cuts, all talented, all struggling. I hired them, not out of charity, out of recognition. Started a fund, Sterling Second Chance, provides microloans and mentorship to unemployed marketing professionals. No credit check, no office required, just skills and hunger. Funded 23 people in year 1. 12 of them now run 6-figure agencies. 2 work for me. The rest are thriving independently. Because here's what I learned in those 47 days. Success isn't about proving doubters wrong. It's about proving yourself right. Francesca didn't make me successful. My homelessness didn't make me successful. The rejection didn't make me successful. It made me successful. By refusing to accept someone else's evaluation as truth. By building when I had nothing to build with. By remembering who I was when everyone else forgot. The doubters, they ate their words. But that was never really the goal. The goal was eating. Having a place to sleep, building something that mattered. Everything else was just a bonus. My company's worth $31 million now. I still drive that 2008 Civic sometimes. Keep it as a reminder. Had it detailed and restored. Park it in my garage next to the Tesla. Some nights, when I can't sleep in my house, still too quiet, too soft, I go sit in the Civic. Just sit there in my garage, and I remember exactly what it felt like to have nothing. Then I go back inside, back to everything I built, because the best revenge isn't proving them wrong, it's proving you right. And that feeling never gets old.